Oh, good morning. Thanks. Thanks for everyone for being here and for those who watch later on the recording. I can share my screen.
Yes.
All right. All right. Perfect. All right. I am going to be discussing Alaska 529 and the UA Scholars Program. Feel free to throw questions in the chat. I'll try to answer them if I see them. Otherwise, I'll definitely snag them at the end. And I know I had really good questions last year, so I'm hoping that this group also has great questions. So, like I said, I'm Frankie with Alaska 529. I'm going to be talking about what is a 529. Well, that's me right there. So I've been with the university about 3 years, almost 3 years, I think, tomorrow actually. So that's kind of exciting for me. And I'm being photobombed here by Pilot the Still Life Sea Lion at the Alaska Sea Life Center. All right. So just a quick overview, not a great chart here, but I want to talk about average tuition and fees for undergraduates over time. Mostly they're going up. The last 2 or 3 years, this only goes through 2020, but the last 2 or 3 years, they have started declining a little bit, but nothing significant, I would say. Well, yeah, there it is. So we've increased 225% over 30 years. A lot of increases. All right. So what is 529? So it's a tax advantage way to save for future education expenses. So you put after tax contributions into an account, and then as the investment grows, you don't pay taxes on those deferred on that growth. And then as long as you use the funds for qualified education expenses, you never pay federal taxes on that growth. So some people might choose a savings account for saving for college. You would pay taxes on that interest every single year. But this way with the 529, you wouldn't. Kind of a neat investment vehicle specific for 529s. Over some of the basics here. Anyone can open an account, and anyone can open an account for anyone else. You don't have to be a family member. You can open one for yourself. I can open one for you. You can open one for me. You can open one for my parents. I can open one for my niece, nephew, things like that. The way that an account is structured is that there's one account owner and one beneficiary, and the account owner, this says holder, but we've updated our terms, and actually it should be owner now. The account owner controls the account, so they make all the decisions. Even when the beneficiary turns 18, the account owner is still in control of the account and is responsible for withdrawing it. So in the event, like if a lot of people know us from the PFD, you can check the box on your PFD and contribute half into a 529. If you take no further action other than checking a box, the account is, the beneficiary and the account owner are the same, and assuming that the beneficiary is under 18, then the sponsor is like the custodian, and that drops off after 18. Anyone can contribute to an account. So we have a gifting platform called UGift. So you can ask family and friends, colleagues, whomever to contribute to the account to help it grow. And then as you can see here, no residency, income, or age requirements. I can open an account for my cousin who's in Florida if I wanted to. He could use it in Florida. He can use it here. So yeah, there's some nice options. And then some people like to know what the maximum you can contribute is. It's $550,000 over the lifetime. So, and then you can also change your beneficiary to a different family member at any time. So if you open an account or you have an account open for two kids and one goes to college and one doesn't, you can change the beneficiary to the one that went to college so that all those funds can be used there. So kind of a neat function. All right. All right. A little bit more here. Oh, yeah, perfect. Yep. I touched on it a little bit, and I'll touch on it even more after this, but they can be used for a lot of different expenses. So we're talking K-12 tuition, vocational technical schools, apprenticeships, college, graduate school, loan repayment, continuing education in Alaska or outside. So a lot of different institutions, kind of a misnomer that it can only be used for college and it can only be used in Alaska, but those are not true. Going in more detail onto what a qualified expense is, this chart breaks that down there. So K-12 tuition is up to $10,000 per beneficiary per year. Registered apprenticeships, federally registered is what that means. It can't just be any apprenticeship. Any equipment, fees, books that you might need to pay to do your apprenticeship, it would be, you could use your 529 to help with those costs. And then for tech schools, college, graduate school, continuing education, it's all pretty standard tuition, fees, housing, meal plans, books, supplies, computer technology, and equipment. So if you're going to college and you need a computer, that's qualified expense. If you're living off campus, you can have the rent paid for, no more than what it costs to live on campus. So there's some restrictions there, but still, there's some really broad uses that you can, a 529 is used for. A few things that it's not used for currently, transportation to and from your institution, so it can't be used for, oops, excuse me, thing fell. It can't be used for the flying into campus to get there each semester. It can't be used for testing fees, so SAT, ACT, things like that. I know 529s as a whole are each state's program is certainly trying to lobby for an update with that. But we did have a new update in 2024, and that is that you can roll it into a Roth IRA. So you've opened an account for your kid, it grew a lot, they ended up not using all the funds that you have in it. You can then, and so then, which is a lot of people's concern, what if my kid doesn't use it? Now you can roll up to $35,000 into a Roth IRA and get your kids started on their retirement. The account has to be at least 15 years old, and you can't roll any contributions that have happened in the last 5 years. So there's some rules there, but for the most part, that alleviates probably one of the biggest resistances to a 529, which is what do I do if my kid doesn't use it? Am I just out of luck? So it's a great option here. Outside of that, I will say a non-qualified expense. So you put money into it, something comes up, I need to pull that money out for whatever the reason. All the contributions were after-tax contributions, so you don't pay any taxes or penalty on that because you've already paid taxes on that. The growth would be taxed, and there would be a 10% penalty. So in terms of withdrawing funds from investment accounts, it's not the worst penalty out there versus like 401ks or something. So it's an option, you can do it. There's a penalty, but it certainly could be more severe. I think a lot of us probably listening to the call are working with perhaps high school age students or those in college or about to be in college. So let's talk about distributions. That is now called withdrawals. One of those things that we just updated in like August. So I'm a little behind. So the account owner requests a withdrawal, and they can do it over the phone, in the online account, and through the mail for those that would want to mail it in. The information needed is the student ID has to be included. Basically, that helps so that when the check gets to, or the payment gets to the institution, it's not just by the name, which there could be a lot of Jane Does out there. It's to this specific ID number, and then the institution's business office, and of course the amount requested. So, and we always say to request to allow about 10 business days if it's a check. There's an ACH option as well that's going to be a little bit faster, but I still recommend just 10 business days. Let's not have that stress added to fee payment deadlines and different things like that. And then I have a little note on here: be careful of the tax year. The 529 withdrawal and payment has to basically follow the same when the fee occurred. So if you have classes starting in January, that's a new tax year, you would not want to do a withdrawal in December because it would count toward the previous tax year and it wouldn't match up and there'd be issues. So for those parents, like my mom would be, who are Johnny on the spot, you want to wait until January to do it. And you can also do it as a reimbursement. So if you pay for it yourself, or your kid pays for it themselves, then you can have the money sent directly to you as a reimbursement, or to your child as a reimbursement. So there's that option as well. So there's some good things. So that, in a 10-minute nutshell, 12-minute nutshell here, is 529s. I'm going to switch gears into the UA Scholars Program. I would have thought about it more. I would have changed my background just to be on brand, but I didn't. Anyway, so the UA Scholars Program, I'm going to start this by saying Alaska 529 and the UA Scholars Program are two completely separate programs. I work on both, but that is the only overlap. There's the funding sources don't cross, the scholarships don't cross, completely separate, totally different budgets, totally different everything. So just start by that. It can get confusing when I talk about both programs, but I work on both programs, but that they just happen to both be housed under our department at the University of Alaska. So starting off with that, completely separate. All right. So a little bit about the UA Scholars Award. It is a $15,000 scholarship that is new as of end of May. It used to be $12,000. It moved to $15,000 thanks to the Board of Regents, which equates to a payment of $1,875 per semester for 8 semesters. This is for not only incoming freshmen that have just started for the class of 2024, but for any current UA scholars, the semester amount increased as well. So super thrilled to have increased the award for sure. Everything we can do to help our students. So the award is for the top 10% at most every high school in Alaska. And then the schools designate that at the end of the junior year. So we're coming into the class of 2025. The schools are designating based off of the end of the junior year last school year. So, and then the award can be used toward any degree or certificate program anywhere in the University of Alaska system. So the purpose of the award, really we wanted to stop the brain drain, right? We want we want all our students to attend the University of Alaska in Alaska because we think it's a great institution, but specifically this is to target the high achieving students to keep them from leaving the state, because we find that once they leave the state, there's a really low likelihood that they come back. So we established this program in 1999, and it's funded by the UA Land Grant Trust Fund. And then it complements other aid like APS, everyone here should be a big fan of course, along with other scholarship and grant options that are out there. I will say that the UA Scholars Award, like I said, is $1,875 a semester. The Alaska Performance Scholarship for a student with at least a 3.5 is $3,500 a semester. That's over $5,000 per semester to attend the University of Alaska. That's a big scholarship when those two are combined. So in-state undergrad tuition fees for the University of Alaska are between $6,500 to $8,500, depending on undergrad, lower level versus upper level, and which institution you're at. So that's the majority, 75% or more, can be covered by being a scholar and an APS recipient. We think it's just amazing and work hand in hand. So we're really thrilled that the APS got increased this year. That was the legislature, so thank you to the legislature and the governor for doing that. So we are just over the moon. So just to for high school staff, they are the ones that do the designating. I do get that question of how are scholars chosen. So the scholar of the school is the one that determines the top 10% of their class, and they do that with our online portal, which we just is new again this year to make it easier. And so the school chooses usually cumulative weighted GPA or cumulative GPA, depending on their school, for their designation criteria, and then they submit to us. I will add that if someone is not in the top 10% at the end of their junior year, and then they are in the top 10% after graduation, and this could be because of their grades improved and everyone else's went down, or they transferred for a different school, or whatever the case might be, we have a reconsideration process. So if you graduate in the top 10%, you can still receive this award. You would just contact us and send a final official transcript that shows your ranking, and then you can get the award. So just for notification and getting everything going, we do it at the end of the junior year. And then how to secure the award, you apply for free. So we notify all students that they're eligible for the UA Scholars Award, and to secure it, they only have to apply by August 15th after they graduate. So we're in the class of 2025 right now that we're notifying that they're receiving the award. They have until August 15th, 2025 to apply for free to the University of Alaska, and their award is secured. After applying, we recommend, of course, contacting your campus, working with admissions and university staff, financial aid, all the different departments to get set up, and then register for class and maintain eligibility, which I'll go into on the next slide. So after the student is in, they've applied, they've qualified for the award, they have to maintain the award eligibility. Transfer credits count toward credit requirements. So you have to be enrolled at least in 12 credits. You have to be full-time status as an undergrad. And then if they keep this long enough for grad school, if they finish their undergrad early and start grad school, then it's 9 credits is considered full-time for graduate school. You have to maintain a GPA of at least 2.5. And then there is what we call, what this chart shows is our milestone compliance. So we have to, ideally a student is going to graduate in 4 years, keeps costs down and for them. And so to do that, you have to hit these milestone requirements after the 3rd, 5th, and 7th semester. So the first milestone is 24 credits, which is just 12 and 12 each semester. And then after that, it jumps by 30 credits each semester, or each year, so 15 credits per semester. And that could be maybe students take 12 and 12, and then they take 6 in the summer, or whatever the case might be. So, but this is just a way to ensure that students are on a 4-year track. And then we have some other opportunities usually available, honors programs, which the universities can talk about more than I can for sure. Study away, I wish I would have done that when I went to UA, but I did not. And then, as I alluded to previous, with multiple degrees, If you finish your certificate or your associates or your bachelor's and you still have semesters remaining of your award, you can continue and get the next and work on your next degree and still receive the award. And then the leave of absence was another thing that we increased in May. So it used to be a maximum 2-semester leave of absence, and then the award would expire. We've increased it to 4 semester, which aligns more with APS as well. So that is really both programs, Alaska 529 and the UA Scholars Program, in a real tight nutshell there. I haven't seen any questions come through, but happy to open it up for questions. If you think of any afterwards, feel free to reach out to me. I have my contact information. You can contact me directly, and then for scholars, you can either contact me or you can contact the main scholars line there, whichever. So that wraps up my presentation. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you so much, Frankie. We do have a question. 1 second. I will copy and paste to everyone in the meeting. Can you see the chat box, or would you like me to read it?
Yeah, no, I can see it. Yeah, this is a great question. We get this. The school designates their scholars, and one doesn't use it, can the next in line utilize the award? Basically, no. Because the student has 4 semesters that they could not attend before attending, we wouldn't be able to, the mechanics of trying to figure that out would be really difficult. So we've talked about it, and we can't figure out a way to have that logically work, you know, because we hear it all the time. A student will say, well, I'm not going to attend the University of Alaska. I'm going to go outside. And then a year later, they contact us and go, I'm ready to come to University of Alaska. My life has changed. I didn't like that school. I want to be home. I need to come home because someone is sick. Like, life happens, right? And so a lot of students do, and we do get a good amount that come back later. So yeah, great question. And then the next question from Catherine. If they defer attendance, so if they defer attendance to go to a different institution or to go on a mission or take a gap year or work or whatever the case might be, they can start 4 semesters later. So yeah, if they happen to have gone to a different institution, then they can do this. And the 4 semester leave of absence doesn't have to happen all at once. It can be, I'm going to take a semester off here, I'm going to take a semester off there, I'm going to take a year off here, and I'm going to take a year off there. So it doesn't have to happen one after another. So, great questions, absolutely popular questions. Great question, Karen. I obviously, should have included that in my presentation. Yes, Alaska 529 is still doing the new account incentive. It's called Dash to Save. If you open a new account with at least $25, we'll put $250 into it. So total miss on my part for not including it. I'm pretty sure I did the same thing last year. So great promotion. Incentive program is what we technically call it, you know, legally. So yeah, please. And that's until the end of this year, but most likely happening again next year. You get very many students applying later when they end up in the top 10% in their senior year. Most of the students who request a reconsideration after their senior year are usually intending to go to the University of Alaska and are looking for, you know, additional resources to attend. I can't say for sure if it's changed anyone's minds, especially when they don't get reconsidered until June, and they're most likely going to school in August. Some high schools do preemptively send me a list of transcripts after graduation, but not always at the urging of students. So, but I probably reconsider up to 30 students, probably, maybe more each year. So, yeah, it doesn't hurt, right? If someone's willing to explore their options, and like I said, life happens and things change, that let's secure it. And then I'm still intending to go outside, but it can be a backup plan. So why not, right? All right, great questions. Top notch for sure.
Frankie, thank you so much. There was another change. Those who are owners, got a notification about the changes happening at Alaska 529. Could you tell us a little more about that? It happened over the summer, I believe.
Yes, yeah, I can talk about that. So we transitioned to, so we have Alaska 529, and I don't do the investments for that. You wouldn't want me to do the investment management for that. So we use T. Rowe Price, and they manage the investments for us. And then they were also keeping track of everyone's accounts and helping with a lot of the marketing, like website design and build and things like that. They switched what's called a record keeper, or we switched record keepers to someone who specializes in website management and design, marketing, and those kind of tools. T. Rowe Price is still doing the investment side of things, which is what their bread and butter is. And so we're having help with what's called a census, and they're helping with account transactions and in terms of withdrawals and different things. So you have a new login to your online account, and yeah, we're working with them. They're an absolute leader in what they do. So we're really looking forward to, after an expected transition that can, of course, cause a few bumps here and there, we're really looking forward to it being extremely beneficial to our all of our account owners and beneficiaries.
Thank you. There is another question in the chat.
Yeah, great question, Alyssa. So institution KeyBank does not. So 529 accounts are have to be managed by state agencies. Most and every state except Wyoming has a 529 plan. Most are managed by the state treasurer's office. Ours is unique, and it's the only one housed under the university system for the state. So most, like our Alaska 529 is a direct sold, which means that we sell it direct to consumer. There are advisor sold 529 options, like we also manage the John Hancock Freedom 529 plan, which is an advisor sold plan. So yeah, so you could go, T. Rowe has a national plan that's called the T. Rowe Price College Savings Plan. That's also a plan that we manage under the Education Trust of Alaska. So Alaska 529 is one of the 3 plans that we manage, is how that works. So you're not going to be able to go to any bank and open one up, because a state has to manage it. So, and happy to, like I said, send me emails, give me a call. Happy to talk about it more in more detail. So, but thank you everyone for your time. I really appreciate it. I know we're on a schedule.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Frankie, for everything. Thank you. Bye-bye.